I believe this is number 15. What the hell is going on with a pissing contest between Israeli special forces? Okay, so I'm going to break down Israeli special forces. It is a very complex culture, and a lot of the Americans, especially Krav Maga students nationwide, Haganah students nationwide, Israeli martial enthusiasts nationwide, get confused because that culture is very complex. Okay, officially right now there are 11 Israeli IDF special forces. That does not include the Yamam, which is a police special forces, special counter unit. That does not include the Yamas, which is the border patrol, the Mishmar Agul, Magav, undercover unit. I'm talking IDF official special forces. Okay, the official IDF special forces is number one, Sayed Matkal. It is the chief of staff unit that did the Entebbe raid and rescue of the hostages. Their main work or mission is long reconnaissance and hostage rescue. Then you have Shayetet 13, which is the Israeli Navy SEAL. Then you have Sayed Shaldag, that sits on Palmachim. Palmachim is a beautiful beach south of Tel Aviv. They are the JTAC version of the Israelis. Then you have Sayed 669, which is the Air Force Rescue Special Forces unit. Those are the 4 independent special forces. Then you have the Commando Brigade, Chativat Oz, which has 2 special forces units that originally belonged to the Golani Brigade, Paratrooper Brigade, and Givati Brigade, but they took the specialty special forces, which is Maglan, Duvdevan, and Egoz, and created the Commando Brigade, Chativat Oz. Duvdevan is an undercover special force unit. That is probably the special forces in Israel and the IDF that gets the most press because of the Fauda series. Then you have Sayed Egoz, which is a long reconnaissance and guerrilla warfare special forces that was designed specifically to fight Hezbollah in Lebanon. That one used to belong to Golani, but the Commando Brigade stole them from us. Then you have Maglan. Maglan is an anti-tank guided missile special forces unit, long reconnaissance as well. Okay, then you have the 3 Gatsarim. Gatsar is Gdud Sayeret that's the special forces of the paratroopers, Gatsar Tzanchanim, Gatsar Givati of the Givati brigade, and finally of the Golani brigade. I belong to that one. Okay, the Gatsar, what they did, and I'm going to break it down. That's why it's very different in culture. Actually, I'll break the Gatsar in a second. Then you have Sayed Yalom, which is the combat engineering special forces that fight a lot in tunnels. Those that are the 11 official IDF special forces. So if right now you ask what are the official special forces of the IDF, those are the 11 ones. Okay, then you have other special forces, like the Lotar unit has a unit that consider themselves special forces, Kfir, Sayed Haruv, this, that. So you have other units, other special forces unit. Each unit is mission driven. Each unit is mission driven. In other words, an Orev unit will not do what Matkal does. A Duvdevan unit will not do what Maglan does. So a lot of times people ask us, which is the IDF best special forces unit? I'm going to circle back at the end of the basket to answer that answer. But let's talk now about old school versus new school. Okay, in my time, back in the 80s, if you want to be special forces, you would have to be either in the paratrooper brigade, which they, at that time, were producing more special forces than any other brigade. That said Matkal, you had to be in the paratrooper brigade, said Duvdevan, you had to be in the paratrooper brigade, and all the others. So originally, if you wanted to be Sayed Matkal, Sayed Duvdevan, or one of the special forces, you would try to get into the paratrooper brigade. But there's also the special forces of the Givati brigade and the special forces of the Golani brigade. Okay, in my time, let's go old school versus new school, and there's good things about it and bad things about it. Okay, in my time, if you wanted to be special forces, you could either go to Givati, Tzanchanim, or Golani. Then there would be a gibush when you get to those chativot, to those brigades. The gibush, yechidot miyuchadot. In that gibush, which is basically selection, the commanders of either sayeret, which is reconnaissance, or either Orev, which is guided missile and heavy weaponry, that's what I was, Orev Golani, or either Khan, which is demolition and explosive, the commanders would handpick the best candidates that passed the selection. Then, in my case in Golani, I did boot camp, infantry boot camp, in battalion number 13. It is a very famous battalion. It has a big fighting legacy, obviously, in Lebanon, in Gaza, in every war of Israel. I did boot camp in battalion number 13 as a graduate of the gibush, of the selection in the Orev unit. My job, or everybody that was in Orev, had to finish first boot camp in the battalions as, how you say that, exceptionally good soldiers. If not, you would fall back into the regular battalion. I'll explain. We started about, I want to say 24. Only 12 of us graduate because an Orev team is 12 men strong. That means when we started boot camp as 24 who passed the selection and ended up as candidates Orevs, we had to finish boot camp first in the battalion as exceptionally good soldiers to be able to continue Tironut Yechida, specialty training of Orev. Then after 6 months of being in the Golani Brigade in Battalion 13, then we went to 7 months of specialty training, and then we graduated as Orev Golani. Okay, that makes things that the old school warriors were a little bit more rougher around the edges and more tougher because they were first in the battalions of Golani, and Golani is a rough brigade. Same thing with Tzanchanim. Long time ago, if you didn't finish your Maslul, which the 7 months specialty training is a series of small courses, and you had to finish all of them. If you failed one of them, you would fall back into the Golani Brigade, into battalion number 13. If you were Sayeret candidate, you were in Gdud 51, in battalion 51, and then if you would not finish the specialty training into Set Golani, you would fall back into battalion 51, and same thing for Khan, and that was the same thing for paratroopers, old school, and Givati. Fast forward to year 2000, Eisenkot, which Eisenkot was Orev Golani originally, and he became the chief of staff of the IDF. Eisenkot created the Gatsars. The Gatsar is the Gdud Siyur Gdud Sayarot. In each battalion, in each brigade, Givati, Golani, and Tzanchanim, there is now a Gatsar. You do your selection when you get to those brigades, and you do boot camp in the Gatsarim. You don't do boot camp with the battalions. Some people say it is better because then automatically you do boot camp with high level people that pass selection and they are highly motivated and have high IQs. So some people say that's better. Some people say that's not better because you not did first regular infantry with regular people. And when I say regular people, that does not demean the regular Golani. Golani battalions fought more than Orev Golani, for the record. A lot of times people say, oh, Michael Keneric, Orev Golani, Special Forces, wow, kavod, this. The battalions of Golani work very, very, very hard in Lebanon, in Gaza, everywhere. So not to demean that, but the difference between then and now, and I actually like back then, but I'm objective, I'm being then, is first we were tough with the battalions, then we were special with the special forces. This time around, or now, right away they're special forces, and if they don't graduate as warriors, they stay in the Gatsar for administration work, they don't go to the battalion. So a lot of the old school guys say, well, it's not as tough and not as dangerous to fall down into the battalions, it's a little bit better. I believe also that's also to facilitate the lone soldiers, because the lone soldiers do better with special forces in the IDF than in the battalions, because then they meet more of the Israelis that are more low social economics and more like rough around the edges. For many, many years, the lone soldiers were always directed to the paratroopers. That's why you have so many lone soldiers that are Duvdevan and not to Golani, and there's very few that were Golani because they were staying off the Golani brigade because it's rougher. But that's then and now. Now, let's talk about who is the best IDF special forces, in my humble opinion, and a lot of people are not going to like it, but I'm going to go with the best. And again, they're all good. They're all very, very good. Sayed Matkal did Entebbe. Shayetet 13 did at the beginning of October 7, there was a rescue, and the Navy commandos went in there and fucking rescued a lot of people and fought the Hamasnikim, so kudos to them. Then Shaldag did a very deep behind enemy lines, mission in Syria a few months ago that was like out of movies, right? So everybody is fucking very good in the IDF Special Forces. It's all mission driven, so it's different, but I'm gonna go with Sayeret Golani. And not because I was Orev Golani, but Sayeret Golani took the Beaufort, and I'm wearing the Beaufort shirt right now as we speak. They took the Beaufort back in the first Lebanon war, and just this weekend, they took the Beaufort again. And Sayeret Golani has the print, the handprints on every arena in the Middle East that's connected to Israel. Sayeret Golani has fought in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, West Bank, everywhere. So to me, Sayeret Golani is the ultimate IDF Special Forces. Whenever there is a mission that's almost impossible, they bring in Sayeret Golani. So to me, that's Sayeret Golani. Again, people say, oh, of course he's going to say Sayeret Golani. Gatzar Golani is Sayeret Golani now. It's connected to Orev Golani, so it's his people, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going by who took the Beaufort the first time. Who took the Beaufort this weekend? Sayeret Golani. Mike Likeneric, podcast number 15. I hope I helped let you understand the pissing contest. As far as the pissing contest is concerned, it will always be there. It's the same thing as Marines and Army and Navy. It's just the culture of the military. It's part of it. At the end of the day, we all have a lot of respect for other special forces units because of mission specifics. And it's kind of like, it's like, it's machismo. But the best one in my eyes, Sayeret Golani. Mike Likeneric, All Raven Podcast, number 15.